It's Patriots week, folks. The Buffalo Bills head to Foxborough to take on the arch rival New England Patriots. And guess what, everybody? I am pumped up, ready to go. I wish today was Sunday, 1 o'clock. I'm ready. Let's go. Let me find one of my old helmets to put on so I can run through a wall right now, or attempt to run through a brick wall. Wear that Buffalo Bills helmet proud and just run right through that wall. Let's go, Buffalo. 5-9 on the 2018 season, and there's more reason now more than ever to be hyped up in one Buffalo. The Sabres, kicking butt, taking names, coming off a 5-2 loss, but that's okay. The Buffalo Bills, the future is now. Josh Allen, the cold front that is heading to Foxborough. UB, the Bulls, men's hoops, they go to the Carrier Dome, or the Cuse Dome, Carrier Dome, go to Syracuse and beat Cuse badly for the first time since 1963. What? What is happening? What parallel universe are we living in which Buffalo sports are the talk of the town? Not just in the town of Buffalo, but in the sports world. Primetime, NFL primetime action, getting talked about by people eating crow, that Josh Allen is the real deal. These same people that said that Josh Allen was inaccurate, that had a low completion percentage in college, that said he shouldn't be one of the top quarterbacks selected in the first round of the 2018 NFL draft, they are now saying that Josh Allen might be the best quarterback of this draft class. That is called eating crow, my friends. Eating crow. Whew! I came in hot. And it's just getting started. I'm just getting started on this part 2 edition of the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. Live on Spreaker, YouTube, Facebook, you name it. I am here for you, the sports fans. So, we got the news in regards to the Pro Bowl. And I've talked about this for the last 3 years on this podcast, that the NFL Pro Bowl is a joke. Can we get that started, that narrative started? Can we get that going? The NFL Pro Bowl is a flat-out joke. The voting process is outdated. The gimmicks in which they've tried to keep the Pro Bowl relevant have failed, mightily failed. Putting players in charge of drafting Pro Bowl teams, Jerry Rice versus Dion, or Jerry Rice versus Michael Irvin, or however they've done it the last few years, I don't even pay attention to it. And I am the biggest sports fan, period. If I wasn't, I wouldn't have a podcast. If I wasn't, I wouldn't have started sports writing when I was 16 years old. If I wasn't, I wouldn't have went to school for communications and journalism, concentrated towards sports. Everybody knows me through this podcast that I talk to each and every day without actually meeting me in person. They know that I follow this stuff pretty damn close. And to not really follow the Pro Bowl, there's a reason for that. It is a joke. We'll get that narrative started. We'll get that narrative going right here, right now. No Pro Bowl nods for the Buffalo Bills. 32 teams in the National Football League. Eventually, I do think it'll be more. I don't know when, but eventually I do think it will be more. But 32 teams right now in the National Football League. Maybe it won't. Maybe I'm just a dreamer on that. But currently, the Buffalo Bills 5-9, haven't had a great season, have had an uphill climb in the standings, and I didn't really expect anything other than that. Once the first game ended, we knew that this season was going to be what it was. The team wasn't really that great, that it was a developmental year, that it was a growth year, that it was a progression year for Josh Allen, and really look at this season as just one long 16-week preseason. That's the way I've looked at it. You're evaluating who you have so that when you do have the $90 million in cap space that you'll have in 2019, you'll know what directions to go in. And I love it. I love it. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed seeing guys rise to the occasion. I've enjoyed seeing the guys not rise to the occasion and knowing which guys are legit and knowing what guys are not legit. Trey White, in my opinion, a 2-time NFL Pro Bowler. But in reality, that is not the case. Lorenzo Alexander, as a Buffalo Bill, in my opinion, a 2-time NFL Pro Bowler. He was a Pro Bowler a couple years back for Buffalo, was also the Pro Bowl MVP in that season. That was a great year for Lorenzo Alexander in the Rex Ryan defense, but let me throw you this bone that this is Lorenzo Alexander's best season ever in his entire NFL career. He's playing more snaps than he's ever played before. He's being more relied upon than he's ever been before, and he is striving and rising to the occasion. Striving to be better and rising to the occasion, I should say. So the fact that Lorenzo Alexander got snubbed by the Pro Bowl, shame on you. Shame on the Pro Bowl. So there's 2 Pro Bowlers right there. 2 of them. Let me throw you another bone that could be nibbled on. And I've had my own fair share of criticisms for this player. Some of them have come to a shock to some Bills fans, others not so much, but a 20-year-old middle linebacker by the name of Tremaine Edmonds, calling the snaps, calling the plays, his rookie season. The Buffalo Bills have one of the top 3 defenses in total defense in the entire NFL, and they've been led this entire season by a 20-year-old linebacker. You can even look at some of the more higher-ranked offenses the Buffalo Bills have played against, and their defense rises to the occasion each and every time. Their offense has been what has really struggled. They haven't found their identity quite yet, due in large part of the fact that they have no offensive line, one-dimensional offensive line, hodgepodge group of players on the offensive line, and they also have a hodgepodge group of wide receivers, some of which have risen to the occasion. Robert Foster's, the Isaiah McKenzie's of the world. Others have not, which are guys that they expected to show up, guys like Charles Clay, guys like Zay Jones. So it's been tough in that regard. But to say that just due to the fact this team is 5-9 that they shouldn't have any Pro Bowlers, that's ridiculous. That is not what the meaning of the Pro Bowl was supposed to be. It's not the meaning of what the Pro Bowl should have ever become. And that is what it currently is. That the big-name players that are on great teams with great records get voted into the Pro Bowl. And it makes no sense to me because more oftentimes than not, the teams that are on those Super Bowl teams, they can't play in the Pro Bowl. They have the Super Bowl to play in. So, that's not going to happen. They're not going to play in the Pro Bowl, whether it's after or obviously before the Super Bowl, they're not going to play in it. But even if it's after the Super Bowl, they're not going to play in it either. So the fact that Buffalo had no Pro Bowlers is just ridiculous to me. But the more I thought about it, I thought, thank you. Thank you to the Pro Bowl. Thank you to the fans that didn't vote for the Bills players or didn't even think of it. Thank you for all of that, because this will be a major motivating factor in 2019. And if Sean McDermott says he's just trying to win games, that's his job to say that. But you better believe it. You can take it from me, take it to the bank, that the Buffalo Bills will be using this as a motivation tactic in 2019 when their roster is far better than it will be. The roster will be far better in 2019 than it was in 2018. 90 million reasons to say that. That's how many reasons I have to say that. 90 million. So it could potentially be even more money than that, depending on who they decide to keep, who they decide to let go. There's no knowing what the exact number will be until that time comes. But ballpark, let's just say for the sake of it, a nice solid number, $90 million. That's what the Buffalo Bills have to work with. So their roster is going to look a lot different. I think we're going to see a very similar offseason to that of the Chicago Bears, to that of the Los Angeles Rams, to that of the Kansas City Chiefs. What they did with their offenses, they built their offenses up. They upped the ante with their offense. They went out and they got the receivers. They really articulately laid out what they were going to do, whether it was in the draft or whether it was in free agency. And that's what Buffalo's going to do this offseason. Josh Allen is a weapon. Josh Allen doesn't need weapons to play at a high level, but if you have weapons around him, he can be even better. And that's the best part to me about Josh Allen, is what's taking place right now, what he's been able to accomplish right now with this limited set of weapons around him. It's going to be very awesome to see how this offense gets pieced together. But the main question of that is, if Buffalo's going to have 0 Pro Bowlers this year, how many are they going to have next year? And I think one guy that stands out to me as a Pro Bowler possibility in 2019 is LaShawn McCoy. I know he's a little bit up there in age, but I do believe that the Bills understand how bad their offensive line is. And once they solidify that line, LaShawn McCoy will see great success in 2019 as a member of the Buffalo Bills, if he still is one. He could potentially be cut before the season starts, and the Bills will get $6.5 million back in cap space before the new league year starts. So they have to make that decision around February or right before free agency. And we'll see if that's what ends up happening. It might, but it might not. Maybe the Bills keep LaShawn McCoy as a recruiter to recruit big-name NFL free agents, guys like Le'Veon Bell maybe, or somebody else. So that's how I see it. And I'm just throwing Le'Veon Bell out there. I'll talk about that at a later date, but I do think that that is a realistic possibility for Buffalo. You'd be a fool not to think that. But NFL primetime cameo in the start, obviously I own no rights to that, but I thought it'd be a cool little intro to the show. I see podcasts so many times post intros and stuff to the show, and they don't own that, but it's like they use it anyway, and they don't buy the rights to it or anything like that, but all rights reserved to the NFL primetime people. I really enjoy that. It pumps me up. It kept me going. You could definitely tell that I was fired up, amped up for this show, and I'm fired up, amped up for next week's game. I literally have a great feeling about this game. I don't know why. I have no reason to think that I should, but I do, and that is my choice. Take it or leave it. It is what it is. I feel this way. So this Sunday is going to be great. I am really amped up. Anytime we play New England, I just feel a different smell in the air, it just feels great when we play New England. So it's going to be a good one. Buffalo Bills, New England Patriots. It is Patriots week. We head to Foxborough. A cold front named Josh Allen is coming from Buffalo to New England, to Gillette Stadium, and I am pumped up. Thank you to the NFL Pro Bowl for giving Buffalo no Pro Bowlers. Definitely know for a fact that Sean McDermott will use that as motivation for next season. Whether or not he says he will, does not matter. It will happen. They will use it as motivation. I'm out. Take care, everybody.